Sit down. I have an opportunity for you. There is a country far across the ocean called Poyais. The soil is so rich it gives 3 harvests a year. The rivers, and I am not exaggerating, carry gold. The capital has a bank, a theatre, wide clean streets. And because I like you, I can get you in early. Land for a few shillings an acre. A title if you want one. Sir sounds good on you. Now, how many red flags did you count? Keep that number in your head. Count everyone you spot in this video, and we'll compare at the end. Because everything I just said to you, a real man said to real people 200 years ago. And they didn't just believe him. They got on boats. I am a very old wizard. I have watched humanity fall for a great many things. But I have never, before or since, watched a man sell an entire country that did not exist. His name was Gregor MacGregor, and I want to show you exactly how he did it, because I promise you, he is not finished doing it. Gregor MacGregor, born in Scotland, 1786. Every point in his skill tree went into one stat. Confidence. Joins the British Army at 16. Buys his promotions because that was legal back then. Imagine buying a promotion like a battle pass. Marries rich. Wife dies. Money gone. So Gregor sails to Venezuela, where colonies are fighting Spain for independence, and introduces himself as a decorated British war hero. Was he? No. Did anyone check? Also no. There is no LinkedIn in 1812. A man in a nice uniform says he's a general. Congratulations, general. Red flag number 1, by the way. A man whose entire resume is his own voice. And here's what ruins my speech. He was actually decent at it. Real battles, real victories. He even married the niece of Simon Bolivar. Yes, that Bolivar. History has no quality control. But glory doesn't pay rent. So in 1820, Gregor visits the Mosquito Coast, modern Honduras and Nicaragua, where a local ruler the British called the Mosquito King, after what I can only assume was a heroic quantity of rum, signs over millions of acres. And what was on those acres? Jungle, swamp, mosquitoes. It's in the name, people. Land, in the way that the bottom of the sea is a property portfolio. A normal liar would exaggerate. Gregor decided to invent a civilization. Remember my little pitch from the start? Watch it come true, piece by piece. First, the cellar. Gregor returns to London as His Serene Highness Gregor I, Cazique of Poyais. What's a cazique? Nobody knew. That was the point. Exotic, important, unverifiable. Red flag 2. A title no one can check. Then, the proof. Gregor understood the golden rule. People don't do research. They read one document that agrees with their hopes and remortgage the house. So he published a whole guidebook about Poyais. Hundreds of pages. Written by a Captain Thomas Strangeways, who, plot twist, was Gregor in a fake moustache of a name. Golden rivers, triple harvests, the gleaming capital of St. Joseph. Amount of it that existed? 0. Red flag 3. The only witness is the salesman. Then, the product. Offices in London and Edinburgh selling acres for a few shillings, cheap enough for working families. Remember that. And London swallowed it whole, because investors were already gorging on bonds from the new nations of South America, Colombia, Peru, Chile. One more? Who's counting? Nobody. Nobody was counting. Red flag 4. Everyone's buying, so no one is checking. Sound familiar? It's the exact psychology that made your cousin buy a monkey JPEG in 2021. Then, the status. He sold Poyasian knighthoods to social climbers. Real money for imaginary nobility of an imaginary nation. And it was genius. Because a man who's told his friends he's a knight of Poyais does not want to learn the truth. Red flag 5. When the product's real job is your ego. And finally, the money itself. Gregor printed official Poyaisian banknotes, Scottish printers, beautiful engraving, and exchanged them for real British pounds. He invented a currency and people volunteered for it. Then he walked into the London Stock Exchange and floated a national loan. £200,000. Tens of millions today. For a swamp he'd seen once. Did no one sail over to check? Of course not. Checking takes months. Believing takes a minute. And there was a book. That's the whole machine. And it worked. It worked far, far too well. Because here is where I stop counting red flags and stop joking entirely. Those cheap acres were bought by settlers, ordinary Scottish families, farmers, craftsmen, even a shoemaker who was promised, this is documented, the position of official shoemaker to the royal court. That man told his friends. That man was proud. In 1822 and 23, 2 ships carried roughly 250 settlers across the Atlantic. They had sold everything. Some carried their life savings in crisp Poyaisian banknotes, weeks at sea. Children aboard, all of them dreaming of St. Joseph. The ships arrived. The settlers looked out at their capital city and saw trees, jungle, beach, the ruins of a colony abandoned decades earlier. They didn't believe it. They searched the coast for the city. Surely the theatre is just past those mangroves. It was not past the mangroves. I'll say the rest plainly. Stranded with no way home, they were cut down by fever after fever. The shoemaker took his own life. Of roughly 250 settlers, around 180 died before rescue ships reached them. And when the survivors learned there had never been a Poyais at all, many refused to blame Gregor. Some defended him. The story was that good. That is the most frightening fact in this video. The scandal breaks. And Gregor? Gregor moves to France and runs the identical scam again. Same fake country, new audience. The French only noticed when a crowd applied for passports to a nation on no map. And some clerk finally said, "Wait a moment." And the ending no writer would dare pitch. Decades later, old Gregor sails to Venezuela, applies for a state pension as a hero of the revolution, and Venezuela says, "Welcome home, General." He dies in 1845 with a full military funeral. Cannons, flags, dignitaries. The man who sold a fake country got a state funeral. I turned one duke into a goose for one afternoon, and I am still banned from Prussia. There is no justice. So, how many red flags did you count? I flagged 5. The honest answer is closer to 20. But here's the trick ending. The number doesn't matter. Gregor's victims could count red flags perfectly well. What he sold was never land. It was a story, a fresh start, easy riches, a place where you finally matter. And when a story is good enough, people don't ignore red flags. They repaint them green and thank you for the brush. Poyais is dead. The scam isn't. Today, it's a coin that's definitely going up. An opportunity that's once in a lifetime. The jungle is always behind the brochure. And my opening pitch? I still owe you the paperwork. One genuine Poyaisian dollar from the bank of a country that never existed. I paid 3 shillings for it 200 years ago. Worst investment I ever made. And the most honest object I own. It says, right there in beautiful engraving, people don't buy facts. They buy stories. So the next time a stranger offers you paradise, check behind the mangrove. Subscribe and I'll show you the rest of them.